Hi there, this is Megan with Left in Knots, and today I'm going to show you how to start a project with single crocheted ribbing. This technique is really simple and it's a nice way to start projects that begin from the bottom up, like hats or sometimes scarves or ear warmers, mittens, a whole variety of different projects you can start with this technique, and it's something that I use on a lot of my patterns, especially on my slouchy hats that start from the bottom. So if you're looking for those free patterns, I will link them in the description below. But for this, you're going to start with whatever yarn your pattern calls for. In this case, I'm just using worsted weight yarn and a 5.5mm hook, but again, use whatever your pattern calls for. And I'm just going to start with a simple chain 8. Okay, so I chained 8. Now I'm going to flip. And when I work into my chain stitches, I like working into these top loops here, but wherever you really want to work into is okay. So we're going to single crochet in the second chain from your hook, which is that one there. And single crochet in each chain stitch across that. So I originally chained 8. One of those was my turning chain, so I'll be doing 7 single crochets right now. Okay. So there's my first row. I'm back to the beginning, just like you'd work normal single crochet stitches in a row. Now I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now I'm going to work in the back loop only. So if you're looking at the top of your stitches, this is the front loop, this is the back loop. So I'm going to be only working in the back loop, and that's what gives it the ribbed effect. So remember, you chained 1 to turn, and then you're going to work right in that first stitch from the previous row, and you're going to work in those back loops and single crochet across. You can do this with other stitches too, like half double crochet, slip stitches, depending on the look you're going for, but single crochet is pretty standard, and it looks nice when it's done. Okay, so there's 2 rows. You can see there that first little peak of the ribbing effect by working in that back loop. So now I'm going to chain 1 again and turn. Again, work into the back loops only in that first stitch of the row. Always make sure you keep your same stitch count across. Sometimes it's easy to miss a stitch at the beginning or end of your row. Like right there, I have one more kind of hiding. Okay, so now you can see really the beginning of that ribbing effect. It's kind of like an accordion. I'm going to continue crocheting. I'm going to make this a ribbed brim for a hat, so I'm going to continue crocheting several rows, and then I will come back and show you how to slip stitch these together to seam your ends together, and then how to start your piece from there. So now would be a good time to pause and work on your project, and then I will come back and show you how to finish this off. Okay, so now I'm back. You can see here that I've crocheted some rows of single crochet ribbing. I did 24 just for demonstration purposes. And now I'm going to show you how to join these two edges together so that you could start working on a project in the round, like a hat, mitten, ear warmer, etc. You can certainly use ribbing like this as a flat project too, like for the edge of a blanket. But in this case, I'm just going to show you how to join it to work in the round. So I'm going to take my first row and overlap it with my last row, which is 24 in this case. Then I'm going to take my hook and insert it into the back loop of that first stitch in my first row. And I'm going to pull that loop that I was working with through the back loop. Then I'm going to chain one and actually pull that tight because I'm not really looking for height to turn there. I'm just looking to secure those two together. And then I'm going to go down slip stitching in the back loops of this first row and this last row, all the way down back to the beginning of where I started. And I do the back loops only because I feel like that hides the seam the best, but you can work into whatever you like the look of the best. Back loop, pull through. You don't want your slip stitches now to be super tight. You want them to be about the same tension as your single crochet stitches. Because right now you are just connecting the beginning and the end of this strip of ribbing. Okay, my last stitch here, work in my back loops, and there I've got a circular piece of single crochet ribbing. You can see there's the join, and there's the rest of it. And so now, I'll say all of my projects, I can't speak for every other designer, but many projects that start in the round with single crochet ribbing like this, you will then single crochet around this edge once before you start the rest of the pattern, whatever that pattern may be. So in my case, I had 24 rows of ribbing. So I'm going to work one single crochet per row of ribbing now along this raw edge, the sides of your rows. So chain one, and this is where you have to use your discretion and just evenly space the stitches as well as you can and count, count, count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see I'm kind of working, well, I am working one stitch per row, but I'm trying to work in these same spaces as I go around to keep my stitches nice and evenly spaced. So I'm going to keep working my way around and show you what this looks like when it's done. Okay, now I'm back to the beginning. I'm just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet of the round. And then you can see, hide my tails there so I'm not blocking anything. You can see that we have this nice clean round of single crochet to work into, and here's our single crochet ribbing that we started with. And so now you can build up with this piece, whether that be a hat, a mitten, whatever you're working on. That is single crocheted ribbing, starting a project with single crocheted ribbing. You can find this technique used in a lot of my hat patterns, as I mentioned earlier, and a few ear warmer patterns. And you can find all of my free patterns and video tutorials on www.leftandknots.com. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you found it helpful. Have a great day.